Long ago, the greatest Pokemon spin-off game was made. Pokemon Conquest is a strategy game that focuses on where you place your Pokemon and how you use the environment to your advantage. It was a huge hit that the Pokemon company completely forgot about. Luckily, a fan-made remaster version came out, with some new Pokemon in the game along with some updates to current Pokemon in the game as well. Whether this is all new to you or you're a Pokemon Conquest fan from the past, hit that like button if you enjoyed, because the hero has arrived in the normal kingdom. We meet some of the kingdom residents until we're suddenly attacked. This acts as a basic tutorial where we can strategically place our Pokemon and plan out our attacks. Me along with Oichi, who will now be known as Jigglypuff Girl, repel the attackers and send the two home crying. We later visit one of the areas in the kingdom to battle Pokemon to make ours stronger and learn about abilities, which Eevee has a pretty broken one. After beating an opponent, it can move again, which is pretty powerful in this game. After some training time, we're strong enough to attack the Fire Kingdom, which is where those two guys from earlier came from. The arena is surrounded by magma and fire pillars, along with the fact that it's a 3v1, putting us at a slight disadvantage. We move around some to get some better placement, but suddenly we're ambushed by Chimchar, lighting us up with Ember, and then the rest of them surround us and Jigglypuff gets paralyzed. Come on Jigglypuff, you're better than that. Luckily, we use Jigglypuff Girl's warrior ability. A warrior ability is essentially a one-time action that can either buff your Pokemon or heal it from some statuses. Hers is able to heal up all of our allies. With it, we were able to take out the small fries, and then finally we ganged up on poor Chimchar and beat it to submission. With it out the way, we've conquered our first kingdom. Two new kingdoms appeared, the Grass Kingdom and the Water Kingdom, and I see what they're doing here. The first three kingdoms here are like how starter Pokemon are Grass, Water, and Fire, which I think is pretty cool. We train up in the lava caves to become stronger and recruit more warriors to our army. They're mainly fire trainers, so naturally we attack the Grass Kingdom. In this one, all we have to do is get all three banners on the field, rather than beating the enemy forces. We decide to divide and conquer this one. We just need to make our moves carefully, and why is Rock'n'Roller in a hole? Tepig grabs a banner while Eevee holds up Bulbasaur. Jigglypuff battles Snivy, which is a grass and dragon type, and Rock'n'Roller finally gets out the damn hole. We modify the plan a bit, with Tepig taking Eevee's place holding up Bulbasaur, Charmander burning Cottony and taking the banner, and the rest of the squad beating Snivy until it yields the banner it's on. With that, we have the Grass Kingdom within our grass, meaning we can have access to Grass Warriors, which is perfect for fighting the Water Kingdom. Despite them trying to delay the inevitable by opening the floodgates, we get right past them and start beating every enemy force with grass moves. It was honestly a full-on sweep, leaving Oshawott being the last one standing since it's a water and steel type, which didn't really matter. With that kingdom conquered, Jigglypuff Girl pulls us away and tells us about the legend of the region. When all the kingdoms are conquered, the legendary Pokemon will appear. However, a warlord named Nobunaga from the north plans on using its power to destroy the region, but we're not gonna let that happen. Three new kingdoms appear: Electric, Bug, and Fighting. We challenged the beautiful Electric Warrior. Luckily for us, Tepigs are part ground type and no Mudslap. We entered the electrifying arena and find that there are some panels where we can stand on and some that are just straight up electricity that we can't stand on. Dunsparce starts it off with a paralyzing body slam on Staravia. However, they get their revenge by paralyzing Jigglypuff with Spark and Rock'n'Roller with Discharge. Rock'n'Roller got some payback by crushing Joltik with Rock Blast. The Tepigs took on the electric types while the rest of us focused on the flying types. Their forces are whittled down to only Staravia and Luxio that Eevee personally handles. Our next focus is the Bug Kingdom, since bug types resist fighting moves. Apparently the Bug Warlord loves to play with these big balls, and can also hit us with them. Now our only big counters to this team is Charmander and Rock'n'Roller, so we need to be extra careful. And Jigglypuff, why are you in a fence? First we need to get rid of that Larvitar so Charmander can fight freely, but Rock'n'Roller is destroyed by Fortress's Double Iron Bash, which is kind of a major problem for us. We retaliate with a Water and Fire team up on it, while the other half of the team is holding down their side of the fight. Charmander continues burning down their forces, and now Eevee is trapped in a fence. What is with all these stupid traps? Luckily it didn't matter since we were able to clean up the rest of the bug forces. The last kingdom is the Fighting Kingdom, which requires some serious training and recruiting since they're super effective against both Eevee and Jigglypuff. We enter the ring literally, where all the banners are located. The edge of the ring, meaning if you get hit, you fall off the ring and have to climb back up. Despite our normal type disadvantage, we bring in some heavy hitting flying types. Our forces slowly enter the ring and we start things off with a big ring out on Girder and Heracross, followed by a double knockout on Krogan and the fallen Heracross. This battle kind of showed how good flying types are in this game, since they can fly over opponents and obstacles to get better positioning for their attacks. With this, our two birds harass the rest of the opponent's team, forcing them to throw in the towel. And there isn't going to be any rematch. We now have 7 kingdoms under our control. However, we're informed that Nobunaga has 8 kingdoms, and the last 2 kingdoms belong to some powerful warlords. We can either go for the ground kingdom or the psychic kingdom. Obviously, we go for the ground since it has more weaknesses and we have grass and water on our side. Months pass, and with some hard training, we're ready to face the ground warlord, who sends us away. I didn't even know that was an option. Then suddenly he sends his forces to attack us. But do we have the option to make him leave? Nope. We enter the ring once again. Fortunately, they mainly came with ground types and we have both Servine and Duat on our side, so we could do some major damage fending them off. Then suddenly, like a Pokemon, we evolve as a warlord. With our new form, we return the favor against the ground warlord. To win this one, we have to grab all 3 banners from these super high towers. However, randomly, a gust of wind can knock us down from the tower. Duat swiftly takes out Pig Knight, and then we do some group damage on Lilligant, finishing up with Eevee so its ability can activate and we can go up a tower. Servine and Jigglypuff get on different towers as well, and Rhyperior destroys Duat with a new ground type move called Magma Surge. And Duat was our greatest counter in this fight. With that unexpected turn of events, we grab the banners and win, because we don't have to beat everyone up here. We just need to take the banners. I won't lie, these banner taking fights are very easy to exploit, and I kind of love them for that. After the fight, both the ground and psychic warlords revealed that they always intended to join us, which they could have said at first, but hey, we welcome them with open arms. Just like the Straw Hats after a major arc victory, we celebrate and party. Why do I hear boss music? Oh! Well, looks like we have a party crasher. Nobunaga essentially comes in to flex on us and welcomes us to challenge him and his army, opening up 5 new kingdoms that we can challenge. But there's more. Not only are these guys tough, but you remember when I evolved into a stronger warlord? They too are evolved warlords. So that's just great. We start off by challenging the Rock Kingdom, since just like the Ground Kingdom, there's a lot of weaknesses we can exploit on this. The Battle Arena had boulders that you can hit off and crush your opponent, which I thought was pretty cool. Rhyperior and Duat were gonna give us the advantage, but they are blind and keep missing their attacks. But not only that, Gibite and Simisage took out Jigglypuff, aka our white mage. So this battle was going to be pretty tough because we're already at a disadvantage. The blind duo find their glasses and beat Lairon, while the combined effort of Girder, Fortress, and Eevee smack Gigalith around, who apparently explodes when fainted. The blind duo finishes up their side of the battle. However, Eevee's side's not so fortunate, as Fortress has been burnt to a crisp and Girder smacked around, leaving only Eevee, who does a full retreat. But this was a plan in disguise to lure the enemies in even closer, so that the blind duo can take care of Simisage. But now we have a new problem to deal with. Simisage resists both the blind duo's attacks, and the only source of neutral damage has just fainted. We lucked up with them actually hitting their attacks and seeing the battle through, giving us the victory. Next is the lovely Poison Kingdom, who's also with the Fire Warlord too. This is another case of grabbing each banner with a bunch of poison and trapdoors that may have screwed Gallade. We immediately start thrashing their team with our OP flying type Star Raptor's Brave Bird, crashing to Scolipede, and then Gallade, whose part steel, uses its new psychic move Stotch Blade, slicing Toxicroak from behind. The next turn they really couldn't do much, so we teed off another Brave Bird Stotch Blade combo to further cripple their forces, with only a Poison Spirit Tune left. so we won that battle. Suddenly, the forces from the Flying Kingdom attacked us. Unfortunately for them, they're in for a shocking surprise. They mainly send flying types, except for Zebstrika, that's fire and electric with levitate, so a flying horse, which to me sounds a little random. The flying horse gets frozen and knocked around by Lairon and Frostmoth, while Luxio shocks down Gyarados and Staraptor. They have to send more than just the weak small fries to take over one of our kingdoms. We'll get our payback soon enough, but first we set our sights to the Dark Kingdom. The special thing about this battle arena is something called roulette time that essentially just relocates one of the Pokemon on the field, which really benefits us so we can Magma Surge through 2 Pokemon followed by Gurdurr missing its attack. Great. Despite that, their attacks don't do much to us anyway, so this kingdom's a total sweep. We saved the best for last, the Flying Kingdom, but we'll need some special preparation to take down their flying forces. So we evolved Eevee into Glaceon and Wigglypuff into Wigglytuff. We run over to challenge them, and it seems we have to use these springboards to move up to higher grounds. But I forgot, Zebstrika can fly, so it almost immediately KOs Staraptor, which was super scary. We get Staraptor out of the way with Wigglytuff taking its place. Glaceon freezes over Braviary, and Frostmoth intercepts Quagsire before it attacks our Luxray. We try chasing down Quagsire, but we get a surprise Brave Bird attack. Quagsire tries to come back to finish the job with Luxray, but it meets our superior, and it's Leaf Tornado. Luxray Volt tackles its way up while the flying zebra gets frozen. Then we finish things off with a Brave Bird. With that victory, Nobunaga's right-hand man slash top glazer comes in and essentially says what we're doing is pointless and leaves, opening up 3 new kingdoms for us. A quick time skip for some training, we attack the lovely but spooky Ghost Kingdom. Also during the time skip, we were able to get another Eevee that I made into a Vaporeon. And before anyone says anything, no, I got Vaporeon because it's versatile, not because of that creepy shit you see online. We all move into attacking range with Bibshar throwing the first blow with Night Slash critting their Ghost Autono, followed by Hydro Pump to Golurk's face. Volcarona is faced with Brave Bird and we bite down and slash Miss Magius. The only issue here is this stupid Absol that keeps dodging our attacks.
3 hours later.
Finally, it's down. It took too long. Krokorok evolves into Crocodile, which is perfect for our next target, the Steel Kingdom. And honestly, this was barely a battle. We quaked and melted their forces while Vaporeon easily stood its ground in a 2v1 battle. These guys were nothing. However, I couldn't say the same about the Ice Kingdom. The first issue, there's nothing but snow and slippery ice here. The second issue, I don't know why I brought Vaporeon over Glaceon. Glaceon can walk in the ice and help us. Due to slippery ice, our positioning is always screwed up, and positioning is really key in this game. Luckily, Chandelure lands a fire spin for Frostmoth, weakening Gothitelle in the process so we can Hydro Pump it out. They respond with an icy attack on Wigglytuff and Conkeldurr. Another issue, Waldron and Lapras are part water type, so fire isn't super effective, with its only counters being fighting, which we just lost, and electric. But Volt Tackle requires a space to use it, and the ice kind of screws us with positioning until an opportunity presents itself. Luxray slides to the other side of the field where it's able to land a huge Volt Tackle, grabbing their attention, where they accidentally position themselves perfectly trying to knock it out. So with one last Volt Tackle, we win this battle. The final kingdom, Dragnor, opens up for battle. After carefully selecting our team members and analyzing the enemy forces, we march to their doorsteps. The battlefield's littered with these element nodes that will hit you with the corresponding element, making our movements a lot more limited. At first, we try to let them make the first move, but they just sit there. So we make the first move, but they still sit there menacingly. So I get impatient and Glaceon starts it off with a double icy knockout to his front lines. This was a mistake because Infernape lined it up where it was able to do some heavy damage on Glaceon and cost us our Frostlass. With a quick heal up from Jigglypuff Girl, Glaceon freezes Superior, followed by Smackdown on Lucario into a double team on Infernape so it no longer hurts Glaceon. All that remains is Zekrom. And I remember at first, when we first saw this thing, I was a little worried, I was a little scared. But now we're just freely knocking it around. We top it off by encasing it in ice, winning the battle. However, Nobunaga just simply walks away laughing, which isn't comforting at all. Suddenly a massive tower lights up, and on top we find Arceus, who decides to join us temporarily, cause it knew what was about to happen. Nobunaga and his top warlord followers come for one last fight where he unveils his shiny Rayquaza, so he gets 2 legendaries. That's fair. Samurott starts off the battle with a new water move, Scimitar Slash, destroying Aggron, with Rhyperior finishing off the weakened Lucario. On the other side of the field, Gallade launches its attack on Infernape with Luxray jumping on it to finish it off. They try to gang up on Arceus to no avail. I mean, come on, it's the god of Pokemon. Our team finishes off Lapras and Aggron, and we light up the field with some divine judgment, defeating Nobunaga for good. After the battle, he reveals that he wanted to destroy the region because people were abusing Pokemon in fights and stuff, and that destroying it is like saving it, which personally I don't think that was the right mind of thinking. So we decide to return all the captured kingdoms in the name of peace. And now that we brought peace to the region, click this video right here.